Well, back to the Cavs now. They've been struggling a
Sure.
little bit lately. John, what do you make of the last few weeks here? I mean, is this just the dog days of March and April when everybody's just gearing up for the postseason? Or, I mean, is it the injuries to JR? Or, I mean, what do you make of the team kind of, and LeBron yelling at Tristan on the court and the Kardashian curse and all
Right.
this stuff? What do you make of where the Cavs are at right now? Are we in good shape?
Well, I think right now they're locked in. In the last three games, you've seen it. They're helping out on defense more. They're hustling more. Tonight, their third quarter, as you saw, was pretty explosive. And when they're able to get the long range game going, they're pretty tough to stop. So Jr. I believe has gone 4 games now with 4 or more 3-pointers, 3 or 4 games, which is a nice little trend because it wasn't there in a while. And I think what they got back tonight also was getting Korver back on the court. His foot seems to be much better because they've tried different orthotics and pads and stuff to not have his foot agitated and upset. And so I think when he had it going before, he had to go out and when JR was still gone from the team and hadn't come back, there were people even saying, hey, you got Korver clicking on all cylinders, not as much of a need for J.R. Smith. I think they need J.R. Smith a lot because of what he brings on the defensive end. And I think he's that guy that he sweats that extra ounce or two of sweat on the defensive end. I think other people feed off of that. And so, they're more dialed in now. They're looking at film more. They're, because it's the end of March, early April, and they totally understand what time of the year this is. I mean, they will begin the playoffs next weekend, and as of now, we still don't know who they're going to play because, we don't know if they can lock down the one. It all depends on the next several games. And while they'll play their butts off tomorrow night in Boston and win or lose or whatever, they're still locked in on how they perform in the postseason because you'll see everybody's been freaking out. Their first round of the playoffs, I'm sure they'll just breeze through that. And I think they'll have a little tougher test this year getting through the second and third rounds to get to the finals, but they will get to the finals. And then from there, there were times this year where you didn't even think they were in the same conversation as the Warriors. Then there were times when I was referring back to when Korver was kind of clicking and what have you, and they were really playing well, and then of course Durant had gotten hurt, where you would say they're the best team in the league. They're the team that to be able to do it. That's a long way off. There's still a month and a half until they get to the NBA Finals or so. So got a long, long ways to go until all that stuff gets down. But right now they're in a much better place than what they were. And tonight's third quarter just kind of gives you an idea when they have that when they're getting the defense and they're running downhill and they're hitting those threes. They can turn those close games into routes rather quickly, and that's basically what happens tonight.
Absolutely. It's such an amazing time to be a sports fan. I thought we had so much going for us with Brad Daugherty, Larry Nance, Craig Elo, Mark Price, those old days with
Right.
Lenny Wilkins at the helm. You thought somehow they might get past Jordan one of those years. It just never happened. All those great Indians teams of the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, and just could never get it done. But I'll tell you what, I mean, and don't look now, but those Cleveland Browns are sitting with a Dallas Cowboy-esque post-Herschel Walker, just a
Right.
massive stash of lottery picks right now, draft picks in the upcoming draft. I'm kind of confident that the Browns are going to be able to turn things around. Any final words? This will be our last point, and thank you for joining us, John. Any final thoughts on what the Browns are doing?
My pleasure to be on with you. Absolutely. I think we all were very pessimistic towards the football team in town for some time, and with good reason. But you're always looking for some calamity to ensue and some reason to ridicule the team, and things aren't going to work out, this, that, and the other. And I have to say, so far so good from what they have done. They position themselves well. I don't think they're going to, someone said not even the Browns can screw up the number one pick. I think they'll pick Garrett. And then, all bets are off right now. Probably the biggest thing that we're seeing from this organization, there may be a leak here or a leak there, but for the most part, they've just been locked in on their plan, and they've been very businesslike with it and very quiet about it as well. So that's a good thing. I like Hugh Jackson. I like what they have done in terms of they shored up the offensive line. That was obviously a huge area of concern. Well, the thing I don't like is that they still, if they pass this year on getting into the building, someone that they deem the next, starting quarterback for some time, then I think it does stall or place in limbo their progress as a franchise. I think until they solve that quarterback situation, they're always going to be good in terms of having some kind of a comeback going, but you can be so much better if you're locked in on some guy that you believe in and can go forward with. And I'm not convinced that any one of these kids from this draft can be an answer this year. I think there are a couple of kids that are worth investing in. They're going to be, if they're picked, they're going to be picked higher than what they're worth, if you know what I mean. But that kind of does happen almost every year in the quarterback classes of so many years. I remember the year, Ponder was drafted higher than he deserved to be drafted. And then there are times where guys get lowballed. What was Aaron Rodgers? Was he 24, 26, somewhere in there? And, guys aren't picked for what their ultimate true worth is. But, yeah, they're doing some pretty good things, and it's so less of a critical a negative atmosphere in the building in Berea from the players' standpoint, from how things are run. I think, we haven't seen much of the Haslams. Everything's just been kind of business, not necessarily as usual that we've been expecting or have seen over the years, and that's a good thing. So build on that, guys. Build on that.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay trying that. It was a very rough year last year. Watching, it was a tank job, and it kind of had to be. You had to clear out the cabinet. You get rid of the contracts. You get rid of the bad apples. Hey, okay. Then this is the final thing with bad apples. Josh Gordon. Is he going to get reinstated? Yeah. Are they going to welcome him back? Are they definitely going to get rid of him? I mean, I've heard some mixed signals depending on what I heard last year from the coaches, what I heard this year from Sashi. Well, what's your gut telling you on Josh? Or is it just a lost cause? Are we going to trade him?
You know what? I've gotten a lot of mixed signals with him, but I sit back and I say, here's a guy that you've invested so much in, so hang on to him. I mean, first of all, there's no guarantee that he'll be deemed worthy or get the passing grade from the commissioner to even come back this year, but he is your property per se. I don't want to make it look like he's piece of furniture that you just bought. But
he's under contract.
He's under contract with you, and so he's still 25, 26 years of age. I don't think there's a crime in having him in the building or even as part of the team. Now, I think people will scream bloody murder that how dare you have this guy who's screwed up so many times in the building, but he is under their control for a very reasonable price, and he is a phenomenal athlete. And so I don't see I don't think the world is going to end if this individual's in the building in Berea this year.
Kenny Britt and Coleman, and let's get Josh Gordon back, and that's an interesting wide receiver core. We'll have some people over 5'9". Go figure. Some playmakers that know how to get in the end zone.
Get the kid from Western Michigan, and then you got a nice little receiving core. That kid's going to be special, I think.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what, we are stocked with draft picks. I mean, not just this year, but next year. So I mean, we could theoretically make some moves with next year's picks to move up and get people. I mean, I hope that this is going to be a Kevin Costner-esque kind of draft for the Cleveland Browns, and maybe the one that'll finally turn it around. We'll wait and see. I mean, Tom Brady came how many rounds later, so you never know who's going to rise to the cream of the crop. So anyhow, John, I appreciate you joining us on the program again. It's always a blast. You were one of the first guests 6 years ago when we started this program.
Wow.
And I know how time flies. How time flies. One of these days, I hope to get one of those Emmys, like you have 11 of them sitting up on your mantle. So that's what I'm aiming for right there, and hopefully the tribe can bring it home along with the Cavs. And I'll tell you what, if I come back this year for the championship, I need to meet up with you and buy you a drink, though. I got to put it out there. That's an outstanding offer. It's on the table for you.
All right. You owe me a Coca-Cola. You got it, my man.
That's a deal. Well, hey, John, thank you very much for your time. If you're not following him on Twitter, he's at John Telich, the number 8. That's John, Telich, the number 8 on Twitter. John, you have a great evening. Thank you again. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Okay, man. Thanks a lot for having me on. I appreciate it.
Sure thing. And for everybody out there in the TNAM radio network, I just want to thank you for listening. Seriously, John is so gracious. It's like 11, what is it, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. It's 11:30, man. He's worked a long day. He's been doing a lot of stuff. We appreciate him talking to you for the Unhappy Hour here at the TNAM Radio Network. My name is Brian Engelman. Subscribe, youtube.com/The New American Media. Follow us all the other places. I appreciate you. I love you. We'll talk again soon. Peace.